Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Black. I'm your host, the PokeGamer. In the last episode, we had a run-in with Tornadus, and we kind of started on our little journey into the post-game. Of course, we managed to make our way out here past the Marvelous Bridge and all that other happy crap, and we kind of just avoided this building in the last episode, partly because we kind of were close to running out of time anyways, and it was like, whatever. Better I said that I probably wasn't going to go in here because I knew what it was already, but whatever, I figured we would go in here and talk to these people anyways. For those of you who do not know, this is where the Poke Transfer is, basically for Black and White. Once you get into the post game, you can transfer Pokemon from older generations up to Black and White, so it's kind of cool. It does require you to have 2DSs. I'm assuming that it needs to be via infrared. I don't think that you need to worry about it via internet or something like that. I never actually did the transfer thing because I never had any of the older generation games. Example, I have Black and White 2 in my XL right now, and I think I have White 1 in my regular 3DS. Yeah, I have White 1 in my 3DS. So, I mean, those are the only like hard copies of the Pokemon games that I actually have at the moment. I also happen to have Pokemon X installed on my XL. So, I mean, like, that hasn't changed at all either. I got my original 3DS at the same time I got my Pokemon White, and I haven't gotten any other Pokemon games outside of Black 2 and Pokemon X and Y. I also happen to have a few other games here and there. Another game installed, which I think I've already mentioned, is Fire Emblem Awakening. Great game, by the way. Anyone that hasn't played it, I feel kind of bad for you. I feel like it's something you should play. Yes, to some it might be seen as a waifu simulator, considering you can marry characters and you can have children even. But aside from that, like, the story is pretty good. The cutscenes are pretty nice when they play. Like when the movie version of the cutscenes tends to kind of be a thing. Those are usually really good. A lot of the banter back and forth between the characters is pretty funny, entertaining, and at times can be either dark or very serious. So it's pretty good. I do recommend people pick it up if they haven't already played it. It's really good. It's kind of like another thing of Bravely Default in a way, but it's more of like a, how do I put it? There's an actual phrase for it, I just don't remember it. They kind of act more like chess pieces or whatever, rather than having a battle system similar to that of Final Fantasy, of course. Final Fantasy, you would see your characters there, you could decide like what you're going to do, whether you attack, magic, stuff like that. When it comes to Fire Emblem Awakening, you can choose what's equipped. You can, like, whenever you attack with whatever's equipped. You can use items, of course, you can heal, you can do all kinds of stuff like that. But each character can move individually around wherever the hell you want them to go. You could pair them up with people, stuff like that. So it's just kind of different, yet at the same time has a similar feel to things like Bravely Default and Final Fantasy as well. But I mean, Fire Emblem's old, so I'm sure there's a lot of people that are fans of it, as well as people that probably have never played it before and that probably would enjoy playing the game if they picked it up. Me, I didn't really, like, I wasn't a major fan of Fire Emblem. Like, I've played some of them in the past, like I think some of the GBA ones or whatever, and maybe it was because of the graphics back then, I don't really know. I just wasn't too much of a fan of it, but I played the demo for Fire Emblem Awakening before it even came out, and it was it was easy to get a hold of the controls, really, like what you can do, all that other crap. Like I said, a lot of the cutscenes that actually play in like movie form are really good, things like that. So I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool, and I ended up, I wanted to buy it. I had the money for it, but all the stores in my area were sold out, or their shipments had been like completely fucked. I don't know if anyone actually heard about that, like anyone that actually has Fire Emblem Awakening. But back when it first came out, like the first month, there was so many shipping problems, so there weren't very many stores that had the game. So the game was, for whatever reason, being sold at like $40 to $50 a piece, or not 40 to 50, like from around $50 to $60, depending on your location, of course. Like, some people decided to get greedy, I guess. I don't know. So instead, I ended up just getting a 3DS prepaid card and just bought it on my actual console. So I mean, whatever. But yeah. So, I mean, like, that was the thing, and I really don't know how they mess up their shipping like that, but It really wasn't a problem for me considering I just installed it. So I don't know. So I kind of feel like mentioning this because it's probably going to happen in the next 2 or 3 minutes, maybe. No, a little later than that. Probably like 4 or 5 minutes. You're going to see an Excadrill get fucked. Pardon my language if you're very young and you're watching, you know, a video game like this. Something that's actually meant for kids, I guess. Even though, like, the majority of the people that I know that actually play Pokemon are all, like, 18, 20, nearly 30 years old, etc., etc. So, I mean, I don't know. What I mean by that, you'll understand whenever we get to it. There's this one trainer that really just had to be one of the biggest pains in the asses that you could ever find. Anyway, welcome to Black City, and look at how empty it is. There is a actual reason for this, and the same applies to Pokemon White as well. Pokemon White has the exclusive White Forest, whereas Pokemon Black has the exclusive Black City. So the only NPC in here is this person, and he mentions White Forest. What you're supposed to do is to connect with like a friend via infrared, because I think you need to be next to someone in order to do it. What you do is you connect to them, and then you can go through the Entralink, I believe is what it's called, which is something that's part of your actual, you know, I'm not sure if it was like the online or something like that, I can't really remember. But yeah, you would be teleported into this area that's like in the middle of Unova that you can't access by other means. And there are like areas where you can go into each different direction. And what it did was, like if you were close to a friend that has the game or whatever, it would teleport you into their game with like a different trainer sprite or whatever, and then you could like walk around and do whatever. When you did that, you could bring over like trainers and stuff from their game into yours. And in Black City, it brings over trainers that you can battle. In White Forest, it brings over trainers that also bring specific Pokemon with them in order to be found in White Forest, because White Forest you can actually encounter Pokemon. This is the fight, by the way, that I mentioned that Excadrill gets fucked. First off, this Perugly not only survives an earthquake, but it manages to set up a track, then body slam, which then paralyzes me, and then it proceeds to use Swagger. So, Parafusion and Attract, then I hit myself. So, this is one of the dumbest things in the game, and this is another thing that I'm just completely baffled by. Why aren't people actually considering using Attract on certain Pokemon when it comes to competitive battling? Because it's kind of like, especially when it comes to something like this where you can potentially get paralysis, you can get confusion, and all this other crap, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why is Attract not seeing more play? Why aren't, like, gender things actually seeing play? Like, there's cute charm, stuff like that, especially if there's like a bulky cute charmer. I don't really know if there's anything like very defensive that actually has cute charm, but if they can take like a physical hit or whatever, cute charm has a chance of activating, infatuating the opponent, making it a little harder for them to hit you, meaning they'll either be forced to switch out, or they'll be forced to stay in and try and break, or well, not break through, but like push through the Attract. And you know, like, I just don't understand that. It's always been such a great move, not to mention that there are Pokemon like Meowstic that has Prankster. If you have the hidden ability Male, you can be like, oh hey, Attract on a female. Oh look, now you can't do anything because I have priority on it. Things like that. Not to mention it gets Thunder Wave. I'm sure, actually no, I'm not sure. I'm not like guessing, I'm positive that it has Swagger. So it's got the same crap that this Perugly has. Yes, it's not physically bulky or anything, of course, but I mean, it's still kind of a thing. Like, you can still set up the Attract, which has a higher chance of making it more likely for your opponent to not be able to attack you than other things, probably, per se, like paralysis or, you know, even flinch, depending on like how you're going about the flinch hacks. So I mean, like, I don't know, maybe Attract just seems like something that should be seeing play, even though it doesn't. So yeah, because of that Perugly though, not only did my little hatred of Perugly rekindle, so to speak. But I just felt the need to destroy the rest of this chick's Pokemon because why not? It was just really annoying. Like, while I was sitting here actually recording the gameplay, I was getting really pissed. Like, that kind of crap is just unbelievable. I got, what was it, like 4 or 5 turns of being immobilized by just the attract alone, not to mention getting swaggered and hitting myself and doing like over half of my own health to myself. It's like, what? Like, I don't get how something like that can't see like some kind of play. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. It's just that I feel like Attract is an underrated move that probably should be considered. Not like, yeah, there are legendaries and whatnot. It loses its surprise factor, obviously early in a competitive battle, because if you use it, then it's like, okay, and then if they have something like a legendary that has no gender, then they're just going to throw that in, and of course then it fails. So I mean, if you know how to predict them, or if you have it on something that would otherwise scare other things out, especially legendaries, then I mean, it's not that big a deal. You can predict the switch, all that other crap. It makes Pokemon a lot more complicated. Maybe that's why people don't use Attract, just because it might complicate the game even more. But at the same time, it just seems like something that's underutilized, and it's something that I feel should be seeing probably a lot more play than it does. So yeah, and my mom's baby talking to my cat again. I guess it's not the dog, at least. I don't know. So yeah, I kind of just took a risk here. I don't remember if I really have any flying moves outside of, you know, Reshiram, but I don't really want to use Reshiram because its levels are obviously up there still. And I'm probably going to have to move the EXP share to something else before the next episode's, or before I even record the next episode, of course. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to make sure that something else got in there. And of course, Poliwrath is easy enough to handle with Whimsicott, though it is a kind of bulky Pokemon, so I mean, it's not like it's going to die in a single Giga Drain. I'm not sure what its actual base special defense is, but it took the first Giga Drain pretty well, despite the fact that I have max special attack investment. And for those of you who didn't already know, yes, I do EV train even in my LPs, especially when I can, of course. And usually I do my level up thing off screen, so when I do that I tend to just make sure that I do my EV training then. I mean, the further you get into the game, it's easier because you can just go back to the earlier routes where you get like no experience whatsoever. Do your EV training there and then just like level up off screen in an area that's, you know, got like the highest level Autonos or whatever, and you're done. I mean, it's not that difficult. I will be one of the first to admit that leveling up in Black and White and Black and White 2 was kind of difficult, in the sense that the EXP share was a held item. You had to give it to certain Pokemon, so you couldn't just like evenly distribute experience to other Pokemon. And on top of that, you didn't have like the rotation battle thing that X and Y has, so it was kind of time consuming, I guess is the best way to put that. So I don't know, it was never like that huge of a problem for me, but the problem was, like, if you wanted to battle people, you wanted to have your Pokemon at level 100, so that way you could, you know, just be at 100%, not like 92% or something, because your Pokemon are under leveled or something. Like, I don't know. I don't remember exactly how people set up the rules for competitive battling, because I actually haven't done any Black and White battles since my last one, of course. And on top of that, you know, like, the Wi-Fi's done, so you can't really, you know, do Wi-Fi battles anymore anyways, so at least not in Gen 5 and earlier. Anyways, not only did we make it to Black City, we managed to make it to another very beautiful city. This is actually one of my favorite cities in all of Pokemon. Undella Town, I think this is the name. I don't think it's considered a city, but you get, right here, you get the HM for Dive, which is useful for something later down the line. So yeah, I guess I kind of need to start doing this now. In the next episode, we're going to continue going through Undella Town and seeing everything else that we can here, as well as maybe a few other things. If you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is the PokeGamer signing out.